There is the claim that Isayama, just by what his story shows, is a fascist and on top, a racist. Without further ado, I go through all the aspects where you could actually accuse Isayama of racism. Eldians. The way the Eldians are treated is obvious racism. Though here in this story there is actually something to the propaganda, like Eldians can turn into titans. In real life, the victim group of structural racism is also often depicted as devils or something evil. And in real life, these people obviously cannot turn into titans. So you have to argue with other reasonings to why the hated group would be devils. But it's the same structure. You find something on a certain ethnicity that you can put your entire hatred into and then make them by that to devils. That's how structural racism works. So the way how Eldians are seen as devils due to them being able to turn into titans is absolutely accurate depiction of racism. And that leads us to the main point of this video. Is a depiction of racism the same as racism from the creator of the story? Obviously not. The thing is, AOT is not so strong in pointing at stuff and tell the viewer this here is a good depiction of how racism works, also in real life, and even if there's no titans in real life. Learn from it, it is bad. You will never hear in Attack on Titan, this is bad. And that's an absolute great thing. It's so refreshing just seeing for once a show that only shows but not tries then so hard to tell. And by the way, this is bad and immoral. And due to that, we gotta say it like it is. Less intelligent people then think Isayama, such a racist. Shows this brutal racism and doesn't judge it as bad in his show. What a racist. So yeah, this is already my conclusion, because to me it is so obvious. It would not make sense to hide my opinion until the end of the video, only to reveal the obvious then. But we still go through the rest of the ideas to why he could be racist, even though he is not. At least you cannot tell it from the story. Or more so, the story suggests that he is anti-racism. Eldians and Jews. The depiction of Eldians has a lot in common with historical Ashkenazi Jews. They are white people among the other white people, the Malians being like Germans and Britons and stuff, that are bound to separate laws. Their alien blood is marked by an armband. They live in ghettos and are born already guilty to the Malians, like the Jews back then. They are characterized as monsters by propaganda, separated from normal human beings, and they are even separated into good Eldians and bad Eldians, a method used by the Nazis to make the Jews go onto each other. And there are fantasies of genocide on them. The parallels are there. And though Eldians are not just a depiction of Jews, they are more like inspired by oppressed people in general. If we want to make it simple now, we can still compare them to Jews right now. But without making any conclusion here, I will go immediately to the next chapter. You will see why. Arabs / Osmanian people. The Eastern people in AOT are just either Arabs or Turkish people, one of the two. And I heard people complaining that they are depicted as stupid, as the idiots that get killed first, and just as primitive, and as thieves on top. And of course the people depicting refugees in Mali are Arabs. That's so racist. What am I gonna say about this? It's the same as with the Eldians and the Jews. Isayama just takes inspiration from the real world racism, and depicts it, shows it to us, reflects us on it. So yeah, this is the opposite of racism again. This is, look at them. These Arab people, they are poor refugees because in this world, sadly, right now, they are weaker than the Malians, aka the whites. And these conditions make them what they are. Less educated, this one is a thief, but still, they are humans, as you and me, and as our main cast. Did you not notice that the only non-Eldian people our main cast ever had a chill and friendly time with is an Arab family? Ramsey's family? And of course they are the first to get rumbled. They are just refugees. The Malians, except for a few more seeing through people, and all the rest hate them. They of course did not warn them. And the Arabs, as poor refugees, of course had the worst chance to escape. So Isayama is not racist. He shows the opposite of racism. Look at how misunderstood these Eastern people are, aka the Arabs, Turkish people here. Look at how misunderstood these Eldians are, aka Jews. But also, we are not done yet. Whites. The entire story of AOT built up to have us have empathy for the Eldians, only to reveal later that a lot, and I mean a lot of the stuff talked about them is just true. Grisha had the propaganda that Eldians never ruled in cruelty over Malians, and then Willie says the opposite. And I remember my mom being like, so who's in the right now? And ultimately she said, I think Grisha is more to the truth, and Willie is just making wrong depiction of history to make the Eldians as enemy again. And I said to her back then, nah, I am absolutely sure the way I understood Isayama and this show until now, the Eldians actually ruled absolutely terrifying for more than 1,000 years. And they did. And still they are no devils due to that. That is the entire point of AOT. Everyone is in the right. Eldians should not be discriminated. But you know what? Malians are also kind of in the right to hate the Eldians. Everyone has their reasons. Even the Malians, even whites. Just remember the scene where Flocko wants to execute all the Malians that disobey the new Eldian world power. Remember what Onyankopon says to him. Rewatch the scene if you don't know. This scene is proof, but even without the scene, that Isayama would never say nonsense like, there's no racism against whites. Take that in, you wokes. Also to all of you right-winged who believe your country should stay foreigner-free. All of you extremists. Even though it is not obvious to everyone, Isayama treats everyone the same. He shows us that it is wrong to be racist against Eastern people, but also against, for example, Jews, but also for whites. All is wrong, and I feel like everyone just overlooks what they wanna overlook. People who are in the Arab victim mentality feel like everyone gets empathy in this show except for me and the poor Jews. What about us Arabs? A Jewish victim mentality would say, of course the Arabs and the whites are in the right, but we Jews are depicted as titan-shifting monsters. And a white victim mentality would say, yeah, the Jews and the Arabs, poor people, of course, but we whites are the evil again. So in conclusion of today, honestly, everyone is just stupid. I think there is no further explanation needed. Isayama just took real-world concepts and showed it to us. And with that, I wish you all a great